Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to the Dice Tower. I am doing a Q&A, as I do most Mondays. Before we get started, we have a contest. You want to enter a contest to win a $10 gift certificate from Game Nerds? All you got to do is, well, you could be listening to us right now, but this is what you actually have to do. You need to email us at contest@dicetower.com or contest@dicetower.com. They both work. And in the subject line, put the word Violet. Why Violet? Why not? And we'll pick a lucky winner in the USA to win a $10 gift certificate to Game Nerds. Fantastic store. Lots of great games. There's so many cool games out right now. You can win it. Go ahead and enter. All right. Let's see here. I was just sitting here. I have a list of videos that I am working on. I think I'm down to 5 or 6 left. But we're working as fast as we can because this week we are doing a lot of things. First of all, we'll play it live. And in that, we're going to be playing several games live. In fact, today at 2 o'clock, we're playing El Grande live with some people who have not played El Grande before. After each one of these, we'll play it live. We're going to record a Catch-a-Palooza, but that Catch-a-Palooza will go up next week. So there's some thoughts there, some videos you can look forward to. Next week is the Dice Tower Cruise. So that's going to keep us really busy. Then the week after that is a normal week. Well, somewhat normal. I got a lot of things scheduled for that week. And then the week after that is Dice Tower West. So there's many things going on here. And oh my word, it's keeping us busy. Meanwhile, I'm shopping around looking at new microphones. We're getting ready to do the studio thing, although that's a many step process. You know that Kenny's not even here to help us through all this stuff because Kenny's already on the cruise ship setting up the library. So, it's been a weekend. We played our 9th adventure of Role Player Adventures. 2 more adventures, and then me and my daughters are going to do a review of it, probably with spoilers, that talks about the whole thing. And then I also played a whole pile of really bad games. One good game, but the rest were just really bad, and I'll be talking about those over the next coming weeks. All right, so if you have questions here, go ahead and ask them in chat. Realize I do not answer every question. Capital letters does not help you, and asking it multiple times does not help you. So let's get started here. Will Nemesis Lockdown be getting the 4-square treatment? I kind of make the call on what gets the 4-square treatment, and so I'm thinking unlikely. Mike likes the game, or likes Nemesis a lot, and he has Nemesis Lockdown. So he will likely be the one reviewing it. Maybe there'll be more than one person. I cannot say, but it's not happening this week. Will the new Eric and Tom show have mail-in questions? Yes. Did you hear the new rules for the shorter game of Now or Never? I had them sent directly to me, so yes. Any chance of starting a Slack or Discord channel for the Dice Tower people? You know, I believe there's a Slack channel out there that's still going somewhere. I stopped getting involved with it. And I thought about Discord, but the fact is I wouldn't be involved. So unless I'm involved, like I try to be somewhat involved in the Facebook group, but that keeps me somewhat busy. So I don't know. So Slack, no. Discord, maybe. Let's see here. Going through for questions. When playing El Grande, do you prefer the original version or the expansion that lets players choose cards at the start of the game? Actually, I think at this point in my life, it is 50-50. I could play with either. So today we're actually playing the base game since we're playing with people who've never played before. but I could also easily play with the other version. Why do you think people like Spider-Man No Way Home more than Eternals? It feels like a recycled movie versus something new and exciting. Well, I mean, I don't think Eternals was exciting. Also, the Eternals may felt new, but all their powers weren't really new, and it just wasn't that interesting. While Spider-Man was the culmination of something. That's not recycled. It's like the ending of storylines and things finishing. But if you don't like it, that's fine. I don't mind. Also, Spider-Man's really, really popular, period. Do you like hot fudge? I do. Have I tried Sanders? Well, let me look. Sanders hot fudge. I don't know the name, but I would know by looking at it. I have not had this particular one, but I mean, I don't know that I could differentiate real strongly between various hot fudges. Ooh, they have more than just hot fudge. They have caramel, and they have dark... Oh, these are just their sauces. Okay. I would try it for sure, but I don't know that I... Again, I like hot fudge. I don't know that I could tell the difference, but I don't normally eat multiple hot fudges back to back. Let's see here. Jay, my pleasure. Will we be doing a vlog of the cruise? I have not thought about that, actually. There's so many other things. Possibly. Possibly. I had the Yees on for breakfast this morning. Going forward, will I be co-hosting the Monday breakfast with other Daystar crew? No, I'll be co-hosting it with the Yees. Have you done the side quests yet in Role Player Adventures? No, because my kids refuse to do it. I don't know that we'll do it. I'm going to give them the option, but I don't think they're going to do it. I'll probably go through it to look at it, but they just want to finish the thing. They want to finish the storyline. Like, we don't got time for side quests. It drives them nuts when I play the video games and they watch. It drives them nuts when I go off on all the side quests, because I get so caught up in the side quests, I never do the main quest until I absolutely have to. Have you been watching any of the Winter Olympics? I watched the opening. I watched it for a long time, actually. I was interesting seeing the countries, and I found it interesting to see the order that they came in, which was based on the number of strokes, I think, and the letters of the Chinese names of the countries. But I have not watched any of the other events. I don't watch a lot of sports, but if I did watch, I would watch. I like doubles figure skating. I would probably watch bobsledding. I like bobsledding. Although bobsledding is hard to watch like on a TV. I'd watch parts of it, I guess. I might. When will the Spring Spectacular be? The Spring Spectacular is in April. I know that for sure. Our dates are set. The A-Team's Top 100, I do not know on that. Sometime this year. Let's see. A lot of these questions I answer in other videos, so I'm not answering, again, every question. Let's see here. Let's see. Moving on. Trying to find something. I wasn't on Board Game Breakfast when they covered the Libertalia announcement. Any initial thoughts? Okay. Yeah, I sad I couldn't have been there for that. I'm interested. I really like Libertalia. Stonemaier makes really good games. I have to say, I will be very cautious listening to anything Jamie says in the future, because I had read a thread a long time ago where someone said, hey, Stonemaier has the Libertalia reprint. He said, we're not reprinting this game. And people said, but you bought the name. He's like, listen, to be clear, we are not reprinting the game Libertalia. But he is. So the reasoning, what he said is, they're not really reprinting it. They're changing many of the rules, giving a graphics overlay. When you people say reprint, that means you press a button and reprint it with the old files. Sure, that's technically true. I don't know what the word is means, you know. But he knows what people, when they reprinted Great Western Trail, they didn't say, we're not reprinting Great Western Trail, but we are making a new, slightly different version. Now, you can argue that this is a much different version. We'll see at the end of the day. I just found that to be amusing. So in the future, if he says we're not doing something, everyone's going to be parsing all his sentences. But he brought that on himself. When you lived in Allentown, what high school did you go to? I went to Vasel's Living Room High School. I'm a homeschooler. If I had gone to high school, it would have been Allen High, because that's the one I lived closest to. Do you think publishing games locally is a good idea for us? Games in India are always priced higher due to import laws. If it works, yeah. But I mean, I would obviously want to make sure that you could make a living at doing it. Does Chief Sokoto have a top 10 games? No, he has a top Subak games, which is really similar to a top 10 games. Let's see here. Do you have an interesting method for choosing which game to play? I do not. I just say, I feel like playing this game. Who wants to join me? Now, if there's fewer people there, that's a little more heavy-handed. But if there's a big group, I just pick a game. At conventions, that's how I always do it. I grab a game, sit down, and say, who wants to play this? Or I grab people and say, hey, do you want to play this game? And they might say yes, they might say no, but that just saves so much time. What's my favorite movie alien? Oh, that's interesting. There's a lot of aliens in movies. Well, can I say Grogu? Is that allowed? I mean, he's a movie alien. I think I liked all the aliens in Farscape. I liked all the different aliens there. I thought that's a really good mix. Farscape's still one of my favorite sci-fi shows. There's probably other ones. That sounds like a fun top 10 list. Why is there no Lewis and Clark with the new rules, Keyflower or the Great Zimbabwe in the top 100 board games? Do you mean mine? Because it's my list and I didn't put them there. I was always amused when someone says, this game's not on the list. Invalid. Oh, okay. I get it, I guess. You know, if you don't agree with me, invalid. Did you time this Q&A to go against the new Magic the Gathering set release? No. I do this the same time every week. I didn't know there was a new Magic the Gathering set. I mean, I guess I should know that. I just did get a new Commander pack the other day to mess with it. I didn't really like it that much. It's like a zombie one. I was like, meh. I'm just not a big zombie guy. What has been the highlight of my day? I don't know. I don't know that I've had a highlight yet. Side quests are better than main quests. Not always. Sometimes the main quests are better, but I just like doing side quests. See, what I like is I like the side quests that give me a reward. There's a good reward that I can then use on the main quest, I'm in. In Horizon Zero Dawn, I've done, I think, every side quest, and most of the errands. I didn't do one, which I might go back and do right now. I just finished up the main quest, but there's one side quest I can't do until I finish the next main quest. So I'm going to go do that main quest just so I can finish that side quest. But I'm having a great time with that game. It is so much fun. I'm getting close to the completion of it, I think. I mean, it feels like it story-wise. And I've even done some of the Frozen Dawn stuff. I've ventured up into the Frozen Dawn area, messed around there a little bit, just enough to get one of the cool weapons from up there, then ran out because it's, oh my word, that was a much harder area. But I'm having a great time playing that game. I don't know why I talked about it. Oh, because there's side quests in it. Sorry. Are you doing the top 10 X-Men United heroes? Whenever I get it, I will definitely do a go through the thing piece by piece because I will play all of it. I'm considering making Daystar East part of my fabulous 50th celebration. All right, why not? Olympics, so many commercials. You got to stream. It's nice not having commercials. How are you planning on the Daystar to cover the World Series of board games? At this point, it's not on my schedule. They have not asked us to cover it. If they don't ask us to cover it, we probably won't. I can't afford to go out there again. Hey, Tom, did you get my email? I don't know. I get a lot of emails. I don't know what your email is. Anything you feel you need to still improve upon on Daystar Retreats? I'm always trying to improve in some manner or fashion. So, yes. What is my least favorite question that be asked at a convention? Oh, I know what it is. It is, what's the hot game here? Because usually at a convention, I have no idea what the hot game is. But people want this, like, secret information. Like, so what's hot? I don't know. There's a lot of games here. Some of them I played before the convention. Some of them I haven't. So, that's, yeah. Let's see here. Technically, he's right. And this is talking about Jamie Segmeyer. I don't disagree. But there's a difference between technical answers and answers that mislead people. Like my mom said, did you study? And I say, yes. And I meant last night for 1 minute. And I was right, technically. But I know what she meant. And Jamie knew what people meant when they said, are you reprinting Libertalia? So, and he knew what people would think when he said no. No one thought, oh, he said no, so it's not a straight reprint, but it could be a revision. No one thought that. How did you run games of Democracy in the classroom so that groups could keep track of rules and the counters that other groups? I wrote all the rules on the board, and I just handed the counters out to the class. Some of you have no idea what we're talking about. Democracy is an old game from Bruno Fedudi in which everyone started with some discs. Like you might get 2 blue discs, a red disc, and a green disc. And then you turn over cards that change the rules of the game, and everyone would vote yes or no as to what those rules were, if they would go into effect or not. Have you ever been to Biscayne National Park? No. So, for South Florida, obviously the Everglades is the #1 place I tell people to go check out. That's really my main thing. The Miami Zoo is pretty cool too. Have you seen it Now or Never got an official shorter game variant by Ryan? Do you think your score will go higher with a shorter version of the game? Maybe. But, I mean, I have to play it, and I don't know. I mean, I probably will play it with a shorter variant because I will end up teaching it on the cruise, I'm sure. But I don't know if I'll go back and change my score, and if I do it sometime in the future, who knows when and where. Are there any conventions you'd like to go to that are not board game related? I like questions like this. Yeah, any electronic show, I would love to go to one of those, especially if they have cameras. NAB canceled this year, but I went to NAB once. But I'd like to go something a little more consumer friendly, electronic shows, or a show that has, shows cameras and hard drives and computers. I would love to go to one of those. I would love to go to a video game show, because even though I don't like video games, it's still, I mean, I'm sorry, I do like video games. Even though I'm not into video games per se, it would still be neat to go and see something at that show. I like to go to Comic-Con type shows because I'm a nerd and I like that sort of thing. I like going, you know what? Here's the answer. I'd go to almost any show. I really would, because it's a big show about something and I could find out more about whatever that thing is. I find that sort of thing fascinating. What's my favorite style of hat? A fedora or a trilby. You've been known to splitting atoms when discussing games too, Thomas. Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Let's see here. What is on your tie this morning? Baseball. Baseballs and baseball players. It means nothing. Nothing to do with baseball at all. Although I guess spring training is going on. But I just thought that this tie kind of matched the suspenders shirt combo. Let's see here. How do you cure analysis paralysis? I don't know. All right. As someone who has analysis paralysis, that's kind of on them. If you have analysis paralysis, I just keep telling people it doesn't matter. I will not, if you have analysis paralysis, I promise I will not make fun of you if you lose the game. Just let's play, because I think with analysis paralysis, the thing that I just wish I could get into people's heads is, A, you don't have to win. B, you don't have to even play the best you can. But the biggest one is, C, you are making everyone else's here have less fun. Just like a really loud person. And okay, so let's pick something I can be bad with. I definitely can be loud and obnoxious when I sit at a table, like, whoa, yeah, let's have fun gaming. Some people like that. Some people don't. And when I realize that, I need to pull back, because I might be like, we're having fun, woo! And other people at the table are not liking that at all. I am making their experience less fun. So I need to kind of calm down a bit. And that's what it is. When you are slow and taking a really long time, you are making everyone else's experience less fun. We've all, well, maybe not all of us, but I've definitely played in games where one person took as much time as everyone else put together. That made, and people sit there and they want, and you're like, well, just talk to everybody else. You can, but maybe I want to play 3 games that day, and instead I got to play 1. You kind of ruined my fun a little bit by taking really long turns. And you got to think about that. It's not just about you. And you say, what about the fast people? Yeah, there's an argument there where you're like, come on, move along pretty fast. But it's usually one person slowing down a table for everybody else. And in that case, it's the one person who needs to hurry. Now, if you're asking how do you cure other people's analysis paralysis, I do everything I can to wipe obstacles out of their way. They're like, what cards are for sale? These 4. The other 2 are duplicates. You don't need to worry about them. You can't do this. Do the bank stuff for them as fast as you can. And then constantly say, I always say, there's no money in this game. You can go. It's not a big deal. Come on, let's move it. I have no problem saying that because I want to keep the games moving. What was my favorite comic strip? Far Side. Hands down, Far Side. Although I like Calvin and Hobbes a lot. But Far Side. Interested in seeing the new Batman movie or too dark? I'll watch it, I'm sure, but I'm not like dying to see it. I will say that it has nothing to do with Robert Pattinson as Batman, because I really think he's a good actor. You know, the first time I saw him was the same place a lot of people saw him. Well, I guess a lot of people saw him in Harry Potter first, but Twilight, you know, and I was like, whatever, you know. But then I saw him in Tenet, and he was really good in Tenet. I really liked him in Tenet, so. Did I watch the miniseries that complete Farscape? You mean the movies? I think so. I thought Farscape ended very strongly, so I must have seen them. Careful answering questions like, what high school did you go to? People sometimes ask those questions to get answers to your security questions for bank accounts, etc. Sure, which is why I answered partially the way I did. My answer I put down is very different. Donuts, pie, or Kringle? Well, if you're going to generalize like that, Kringle. Top 3 least favorite jelly bean flavors. Popcorn, number 1, by a mile, popcorn. And by the way, I'm taking out the really, really nasty, you know, those bamboozled ones where there's like fresh cut grass and dog vomit and stuff. I'm taking those out of the equation. Popcorn is my least favorite. Because if I want to eat popcorn, I'll eat popcorn. If I want to eat jelly beans, I'll eat jelly beans. Don't mix them. I don't know what it is. I really dislike that flavor. I also don't like coconut jelly beans particularly. And there was another flavor that whenever I get it, I'm like, ugh. I'm forgetting what it is right now. But there's a couple flavors I really don't like. When I get those Jelly Belly mixes, I'm always cautious not to take some of the flavors because I really don't like popcorn. At least they're easy. They're the white ones with yellow specks on them. I apologize. I don't remember what the third one is, but it's something along those lines. My favorite is Juicy Pear and Peach. Those two are amazing. I also like the sour ones, but Juicy Pear and Peach. Are your girls always a switch on focus playing at home as they are in a stream? No, because that's how kids are. Video montage idea. All the times Tom has tried a Hasbro. Seriously, I got another email from them last week that says it's on its way. I mean, where is this? Look at this. I'm going to... All right, so Hasbro. I'm going to stick it in my emails here. Where did they... Your order has left the building, this said on February 2nd. All right, thank you. Here's my tracking number. I will now do detailed tracking. Scheduled delivery tomorrow. It's in Port St. Lucie. I swear. They picked Tuesday. It better come. I'm not kidding. It better come, Hasbro. This is your last chance. All right, let's go back to real questions. The new Magic the Gathering Commander features mech vehicles. Well, that sounds cool. What goes on at Dice Tower East and what's planned for it? Well, we do some shows there, not too many. It's mostly just a lot of big open gaming with some publishers. We're going to have lots of publishers, not lots, but several publishers there selling games, and we will bring the big Dice Tower library, which will be even bigger by then. So right now, the Dice Tower library is on 27 shelves. Racks, 27 racks. It's more than 27 shelves. It's 27 times 5. I took 20 of those shelves on the cruise. I did some reorganization and things because we only have so much room on the cruise ship. That's still a really good library. By the time we get to Dice Tower East, I might still only have those 27 shelves, but I'm going to add 2 more shelves completely of kids' games because we'll have kids at Dice Tower East. All the games, as much as I can possibly do so, are going to be upgraded as well as I possibly can. They're all worth looking at least. If a game is trash, if we say a game is trash on Dice Tower, it's not in a library unless a lot of other people really, really like it. Just because I don't like a game doesn't mean it doesn't make the Dice Tower library. That library is great, and you're going to meet so many fun people to play games with. We're going to have a hot games room with the hottest games out for you to play. Come on out. And it's in Orlando, Florida. So many amazing restaurants in Orlando, Florida. Do you like old spaghetti westerns? Yes. Which is your favorite? I don't particularly have one. I mean, my favorite is the apple dumpling gang, but I don't think that's necessarily a spaghetti western. So I don't have one in particular. When I have this weird, is it Panasonic TV thing that I don't have cable, but there's this weird thing, and they have these old western movies, and when they come on, I tend to watch them. They're very formulaic, but I enjoy them. Is Daystar West generally more or less work for you compared to the other Daystar conventions? The most work for me for a Daystar convention is the cruise. For sure. Which sounds weird because it's the cruise. And then probably east, then west, then the retreat. But they're all work. Don't get me wrong. I love going, and I try to do, but I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on into doing a convention. What day will your Days 1 or top 10 be out? I think the top 10s for publishers will always be out on Saturdays or somewhere around there. What food am I most looking forward to on the cruise? Shrimp, but also escargot. Have I played Immortals Phoenix Rising or Control? I've definitely played Immortals Phoenix Rising. That's one of my favorite games. In fact, I was telling Z the other day, I think I just like open world. That might be the only kind of game I get for myself in the future. I just want to go around and do whatever I feel like doing. And every time I play one, when I first start out, it takes me a while to kind of get things started. You know, I'm like getting into the new system, but once you get going, you get going. I always do the same thing in all my games though. I try to explore as far as I possibly can. So I did that in Breath of the Wild. You know, in Breath of the Wild, you can climb up these towers to reveal areas, and that was my #1 goal. Before anything else, reveal every spot on the board. Then, and I did the same thing in Phoenix. I wanted to go reveal all those areas. That was my #1 thing to do. Then I'm doing that. I did it in Horizon Zero Dawn as fast as I could. Go find all the tall necks and hack them so I can see the whole world map. I try to run by every campfire so that I can warp to all these campfires. I don't know why I like doing that. I like knowing the lay of the land, and I just like exploring. I just like going down and be like, whoa, that looks amazing. It's fun. That's something in video games I love, is when you go around a corner and you're like, that's really cool. In Skyrim, I just walk around and suddenly I go, I didn't know that was there. I don't know. There's just something about that exploration which is very enjoyable. My least favorite game piece? Maybe those little tiny round discs that roll all over the place. Does the Dice Tower collection have a Magic the Gathering cube? Yes, it does. Are the retreat tables dedicated to newbie game players? No, because new game players are welcome at all our tables. And again, if you think that's not true, come find me. I'll play a game with you. What's that game behind you? Star Trek Missions. Oh, it's a Star Trek card game from WizKids. Let's see here. How would you rate Marvel United without the Kickstarter exclusive content? The only two things available through retail are the 2 base games and Enter the Spider-Verse. Yeah, but I don't rate stuff necessarily based on what's available in retail. I just rate the game that I got. I backed it, so that's what I wanted to talk about, that particular game. I don't think we should always base everything based on retail. You had the opportunity to buy Marvel United. And guess what? Even though that stuff was exclusive, when they ran the Marvel X-Men United, it was also available in that Kickstarter. And when they invariably run a third Marvel United, and I don't know that they are, so don't take that as gospel, you'll be able to back all that old stuff again. I'm trying to get a 5-year-old boy with low patience, full of energy in a board game. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, just find a game and play it with them. Offer them a reward for playing it with you or whatever. They're not going to want to sit still and play games all the time, but they'll play games with you once in a while. Tom seems so skeptical of new Stonemaier. New? Or maybe just Jamie gets a little kernels lip anytime they come up. No. I love a lot of Stonemaier games. I just was amused by that whole reprint doesn't mean reprint thing. I don't know that I necessarily agree on that. Yes, it's a revision, but I feel pretty confident when I play this, I'll go, yeah, it's still Libertalia. There's a lot of changes and stuff. For the Shoots and Marbles event at the upcoming Daystar West, if we sign up for the event, can we bring our own marble and enter in the race? Please bring your own marble. You'll be stuck with one of my lousy marbles. I'm not saying your opinion's invalid. I want to know, why is there something better? Oh, man. Now I got to go find the original question for this, or it's not going to make any sense to me. Why is there no Lewis and Clark of the new in the top 100 games? Yeah. Yes. So to be careful, you want to know why? Because they're not in my top 100. Is there something better? My top 100 games. I don't need to justify why every game is not in my top 100. That would take years to go through the 20,000, 30,000 games that didn't make my top 100. Why didn't you put this one in? Well, because of this reason, this reason, this reason. That's just all there is. I've reviewed a couple of those games. Like, for example, I dislike Lewis and Clark. That's just me. The Great Zimbabwe, I'm never going to play it. So that's why they didn't make it. But it's okay. Different people have different ones. Like, if I came across someone else's top 100, it didn't have Cosmic Encounter in, I wouldn't go, what? I mean, I might as a joke, but I really don't care. You could have your number one be Diplomacy. And I'd be like, woof, woof, woof. And I'd still be okay with that. Have you kept track of how many Q&As you've done? Are you getting close to 1,000? I doubt it. How long have I been doing the Q&As? I mean, I do at most 40, 50 a year, right? So I take 20 years of that. So no. You'll be in Everglades 2 weeks from today, looking to find a good airboat ride. Looks like they get better as you get closer to Everglades City. Maybe. I don't know. I've enjoyed all the ones I've been on. My buddy and I are going to do our first Gen Con after years of waiting. It'll be our first con ever. What do we need to know? You won't be able to do everything, but you'll have a great time if you just go and enjoy it. You might want to sign up for an event ahead of time. Look at them, see if they're interested. Come to the Dice Tower show if we do one, which we probably will. Go through the exhibition hall. That's a lot of fun. There's open gaming areas. There's all kinds of things to do. You won't be bored. Oh, also make a budget. Make a budget, or you'll buy too many things. Do people recognize you outside the board game community? Yeah, whenever I go home, my kids are like, Dad! Okay, that's a lie. Hang on. Let me rephrase that. My son is like, Dad! My daughters are like, huh. But they recognize me. So I think what you mean is, do people recognize me in public? It's happened, but on very, very rare occasions. Have you ever gone to a Renaissance festival? I've not, actually. I've always wanted to go to one. There's one that's not too far from here, up in Fort Lauderdale, and every time I look at it, I was going to take the kids and everything. It's just way too expensive, and that's just to get in. And I know that they have to make a buck, so I'm not begrudging them for being expensive. It's just that, maybe I'll just go with my wife sometime. What's the minimum age you would take kids to a board game cafe to make sure it's fun for everyone? There is no minimum age. I would base it on the kid. And I think I would look at one of my kids and say, do I think they could go to a board game cafe without disrupting everybody? And then add 2 years. Because your tolerance for what your kids do is lower than usually. Not some parents, it's not. But for most parents, your tolerance is less than what other people around you might have. Also, it depends on the rules of the cafe. Do I have any prediction regarding board game community growth by 2030? I do not. Do you think we will reach a broader audience today? I don't know. Especially with technology growing exponentially. I still don't know. I will not make predictions because it's just random guessing. That's true. Board Game Arena is great when you have analysis paralysis. Take all the time you need. That's true. If you want to play those turn-based games online, they're fantastic for people with analysis paralysis. What's your favorite non-superhero movie you watched last year? Well, Ghostbusters I liked a lot. Encanto? Was that last year? Yeah, I think so. Oh, Dune. Dune was really good. Probably Dune. That's not a superhero. I really like Free Guy, but I mean, technically, I'll go with Dune. Alrighty. Are you going to the UK Games Expo this year? Probably not. In fact, I'm going to say from Tom Vasel's end, very likely not. Do you think we'll have an international retreat anytime in the coming years? Not from my end. It's already very difficult to organize one in Miami. It'd be very difficult to organize one somewhere else. Let's see here. Nick says, Far Side, Garfield, peanuts and pearls before swine. I like pearls before swine. Peanuts is fine. I really like peanuts a lot. I like older peanuts, 60s peanuts more, because peanuts started to repeat itself a lot. And Garfield, I don't like that much because Garfield repeats itself more than anything else. There's no growth, no development ever in that comic strip, and I guess that's fine. But how many times can I hear that he likes lasagna, hates Mondays, John's a loser? Garfield without Garfield is somewhat entertaining, if a little sad. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up online. Garfield, I think it's either called Garfield without Garfield or Garfield minus Garfield. It's essentially the Garfield comic strip, and they take Garfield out, and it's just John wandering around talking to himself, which is not necessarily to be funny. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Tom reminds me of Dilbert and his tie, but then wouldn't my tie be like? Doesn't his tie like pointed up or something? I don't remember how it works. I did like Dilbert for a while, but Dilbert then fell in that same trap where they kept repeating themselves over and over and over and over again. My brother is taking 30-minute turns in Smash Up. 30 minutes for a single turn? What's the average number of packages Daystar gets in a typical day? 2 sounds right. That's 14 a week. That sounds close to accurate. If you're including other stuff like supplies and things, it might be 3 a day. That'd be 21 a week. That sounds right. Let's see here. Once again, pointing out, asking the same question multiple times does nothing. Whoever invented those gross non-food flavors must hate candy. No, what it is they put two. Kids love it. My kids love it every time. They have 2 jelly beans. One's a delicious flavor and one's a nasty flavor. Like, for example, it might be juicy pear or freshly cut grass. And freshly cut grass is one of the better ones. There's one called dog food, which I think is the absolute worst of the bad flavors. But it's like Russian roulette, and kids are like, ah, and then they all yell and scream, and then they come back again. They sell very well. Will you review Azul Queen's Garden? At some point, we have not gotten it yet. Let's see here. Do you plan on playing the Messiah Complex expansion on Legendary? That's another expansion I've not gotten. If I get it, I will give it a whirl. How do you keep rules straight for so many games? Well, I probably don't. I try, but it's hard. How do you settle house rule discrepancies among the players? We just go by. I mean, it very rarely comes down to a big argument. If it is a big argument, we sometimes will do a roll-off, I guess. It's been a long time since I remember that. Usually the one person who loses will be like, all right, I'm keeping asterisk. I'll remember this. I was only curious about high school you attended because I grew up in Allentown and went to Deer High School. That's where my mom went. There's a security. What high school did your mom go to? I don't think that, I've never seen that as a security question. My mom went to Deer. I went to Deer one time to shoot off rockets because they have a big field there. And those rockets that you launch as a kid, and then you can't. Then they always go off in a parachute, and you don't get them back. Oh yes, thank you. Toasted marshmallows, the other flavor I don't like. I don't like toasted marshmallows, and I love toasted marshmallows, but I don't like toasted marshmallows jelly beans. There you go. Your two favorite are popcorn and toasted marshmallows, and you, Joey9, and me would get along just fine. Because we have a big bag, and I'd be like, take all these. I'll take all these. You can have all the toasted marshmallow and the buttery popcorn, and I'll take the rest. What's your pick for Best Picture of 2021? I don't know what the nominees are. Have they listed them yet? Let's see. Oh, no, they haven't. They're just tracking. They're tracking the top contenders. Well, let's see what they have. Belfast. I don't think I saw it. The Power Dog. I haven't seen it. King Richard. I haven't seen it. I meant to see it. Don't Look Up. No. Dune. Oh, I like Dune. Coda. Licorice Pizza. Tick, Tick, Boom. West Side Story. I want to see West Side Story a lot. Being the Ricardos. Nightmare Alley. Okay. Well, I've only seen what have I seen? Being the Ricardos and Dune. Oh, I saw part of Don't Look Up, but I didn't want to see the rest of it. I didn't really like it. Yeah, I guess I'll say Dune, but I don't really care. Almost always, the list of Oscar winners for me, and this is for me, is just they're just not in touch with what I like to see. So every time I see a list of Oscar winners, I'll go, yeah, I'm not interested in those for the most part. Now, occasionally there's one that I'll watch and I'll go, I really like that movie. That was a really good movie. But I found most of the time they put a lot of really depressing movies on there, and I don't particularly like depressing movies. Slice of life, but it's terrible. And everyone hates each other. And a dad yells at his son the whole time, then dies before they can make up or whatever. That's fine. I'm not saying they're bad movies. They just aren't for me. Oh, there's a lot of people who apparently like Juicy Pear, don't like Juicy Pear, but like popcorn. Well, then that's great. We're all kinds of people in the world, but again, I think it's fantastic because then you don't take my jelly beans away from me. Yep, that's what Corlew just said. Just like the games, we all have different tastes. If you don't like a flavor, just leave it, and there's more for someone else who enjoys it. 100%. I don't throw the popcorn ones in the garbage. Give them to someone who likes that stuff. Brett says, you made me happy by praising Farscape. It's one of my favorite shows ever, made my day. Here's why I liked Farscape. So Farscape definitely had, the special effects were not amazing. But Farscape, I watched the first season, and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm liking this stuff, but it's okay. It was your story of the week. But in the final episode, they brought some people from those stories of the week back for that final episode, and I was like, that's amazing. That's really cool. And then they kind of doubled, went down on that. That's one reason I liked it. Another reason was, with the exception of the screaming lady, I really liked all the characters. They were all fun characters. And then they did something that I hated, which was, and it's not a huge spoiler, but they split the party in a very odd way, which you'd have to watch Farscape to see how they split the party. And I thought, oh man, I don't want to watch them apart from each other. But that storyline actually got really good and had a very interesting payoff. Really interesting payoff. And yeah, that was, but it was also one of the few sci-fi shows, unlike Star Trek. Star Trek was always story of the week. Farscape started getting into near the end. There was no story of the week at all. It was just following the main story. I love that. I love that continuing story. That's kind of the norm now, but I really liked it at the time. Are you disappointed that the Doctor from Who Don't Blink game features the 11th Doctor, not the best, the 10th Doctor? Don't Blink board game. Oh, yeah, it does. Well, I mean, they were in his thing, too. That's kind of weird because he said don't blink. So, I mean, that's the title of the episode, but... Okay, well, Amy and Rory and Claire are in this, too. All right. I don't hate that because I think he's the second best Doctor, so, and he's a really close to the best, and my kids clearly think Matt Smith's the best Doctor. You know what's funny is I'm like, yeah, someone here says the one time Tom really wants something from Hasbro. I'm suspecting I'm not even going to love the game, but who knows? In your behind the scenes of your work week, you showed you have Switch controllers. What games do you play on a Switch? Nowadays, almost nothing. I'll play Breath of the Wild 2 when it comes out, but I play mostly in the PS5, mostly because that's the one system that no one messes with me on. The kids are always playing the Switch. So if I play games I'll play games with the kid. Mario Party, Super Mario Kart. Apple Dumpling Gang, is that one of those black and white movies with kids and babies pretending to be cowboys and gangsters? No. The Apple Dumpling Gang is a 1975 movie starring Tim Conway and Don Knotts, one of the best comedic pairs ever. I believe there was another one called The Apple Dumpling Gang Returns. Is there just two? The Apple Dumpling Rides Again, 1979. It's just nonsensical nonsense. It's like those old Disney black and white movies and just these silly guys getting into trouble all the time. I really liked it. I mean, part of it I saw as a kid, but even now when I watch it, I'm amused. I think Don Knotts is just funny. Anyway. Do you think it's smart to build up hype a year in advance like the HOMM 3 board game? Man, we gotta stop using acronyms. I'm trying to think what the HOMM means. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Whew, I got it. Sure. But see, for me, that stuff's pretty easy because I hear about it and I go, well, that sounds really interesting. And then in my brain, I go click and I forget all about it. And I go think about, because I'm telling you folks, this has made my life more fun. I'm interested in the games that exist right now. That's more fun to deal with. Those games that are coming out in the future, man, I back a Kickstarter, I forget about it. I don't read the updates. It comes when it comes. Now, every once in a while, I say once every 3 or 4 months, I go through all my Kickstarters just so I check to see if I haven't missed like filling out the survey or something for something. But other than that, and it's okay. When's the last time you had an apple dumpling? It's been a while for sure. I don't think apple dumplings are great anyway. Best place to eat around Homestead. The best place in Homestead. There's 3 places I take people when they come here that are somewhat unique to Homestead. One is Shivers Barbecue. It's spelled Shivers, but it's called Shivers Barbecue. Then there's downtown. There's some really great Mexican restaurants. Any of them are good. And then there's a place called Mamma Mia's, a good Italian place. Other than that, I'm taking people down to the Keys, where we're going to have some delicious seafood. Which Dice Tower con is closest to really good key lime pie? The Dice Tower Retreat. If I could get any film star to appear in a Dice Tower and play a game, who would it be? Pragmatically, probably Oprah, because she'd put it in her magazine and get everyone to buy it, right? I don't know. Maybe. Let's see here. All of you in the Daystar are very good on camera. Do you practice this, or do you have any training in acting communications? I mean, you could say I practiced at it because I've been doing it for 20 years now, so that's kind of practice in and of itself. But I think you learn how to be good on camera. You learn to, I'm talking to you, right? I'm not speaking to a camera. I'm not trying to be stiff. But a part of that, I think most of us here, me, Z, and Mike, we're all teachers, and I think you can tell a little bit. Some people are just naturally good on camera, and other than that, it just comes. And hopefully we make the environment here easy enough that we can talk with folks. And maybe those of us who talk to ourselves a lot. Let's see here. Shooters are arguably the most popular video games. Are they? I think the most popular video games would be something really simple like Bejeweled, right? Isn't that the most popular? I don't know, but would you say there's the most popular type of hobby board game? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a particular type. I mean, people might think theirs is, the roll and write. People be like, definitely roll and writes. But I guess if there's the most popular type of board game, it would be card games like Uno. Those are played more all around the world than anywhere else. $50 times 20 is 1,000. I'm confused. Isn't that what someone asked me? They said, have I done 1,000 of these Q&As? But I have been doing Q&As for 20 years. What hot games are you bringing to Daystar West? We'll tell you in a couple weeks. You did a top 100 at the Miami Zoo a few years ago. I really like doing that too. Will you do another top 10 or any other video outside the studio? I would love to. It's just difficult to drag all that camera stuff around. Also, it's really hot out in the sun. So it was fun. I don't know if you remember, I dragged it down to the Keys too. That was a lot of fun. Let's see here. I once used Tom as an entry in Celebrity, and everyone else playing got mad at me. I don't know why they would get mad at you unless they didn't like me, which is legit. But I mean, even if you put like Joe Bag of Donuts, you could still get me to guess it by, like, oh, what's the first name of the first, let's see, you get someone to guess the word Joe from, I'm trying to think of a famous Joseph and my mind went blank. Okay, what's the kid in the Bible whose brother sold him into slavery? Joseph. What's a short version of that name? Joe. Okay, last name. If you like these things, they're round with icing on. Oh, donuts. And if you put them in what? A box. No, crinkly. A bag. What do you call that? Bag of donuts. Joe Bag of Donuts. That's how you would do it. For me, you just get them to guess Tom, and then like, what's that nasty stuff that you put on stuff to make it smoother, but it's made from petroleum? It's the most common thing for petroleum oil. Vaseline. All right, it's like that, but without the last few letters. Tom Vasel. Boom. You don't have to know me at all. And that's what's fun about Time's Up, is getting those clues about people you don't even know. Do families with young children come to Daystar conventions? Only to, not to the retreat, because we don't allow kids there. And West, I don't remember what the age limits are at West. You have to look them up online. I'm sorry, I'm blanking there. Daystar East and the cruise, although any kid who comes in the cruise is almost always not wanting to play games. They want to go do the cruise stuff. And at East, they usually play with their parents. Am I on the app Letterboxd for movie reviews? No, I don't know what that is. Is Joe Stedman coming to Daystar West? I don't think he is. He hasn't told me he is. Ooh, what? Dr. Pepper jelly beans. I don't know if I've had those. Let me see. Do you like Level 99 publishing? Well, interesting that you asked me that because I'm doing my top 10 Days of Wonder games this week. Next week, I'm doing my top 10 Level 99 games. Tom, you mentioned Tenet before. What were your thoughts on the movie? I like Tenet. I mean, I thought it was, technically, it was amazingly well done. Did I understand it? Sort of, kind of, but I don't really care that much. At the end of the day, it was just fun to watch. Let's see here. Moving. People are talking about Kickstarter games. Were you ever a student's pet when you were a teacher? Oh. How can you be a student pet when you are a teacher? I was a little bit of a student. Oh, was I a student's pet? I don't know what that means. Is that like a teacher who all the students love? Probably not. I think the students thought I was interesting. And I think the students liked my classes for the most part. But I was strict. I was not the student's buddy. So I'm very much opposed to that. That's an easy thing for teachers to fall into when you first become a teacher. Like, hey, I'm these kids' friend. No, you can't be their friend. You are their teacher. You must be their teacher. And to do that, you need to nail them to the wall when they don't bring in their homework. That's all figuratively speaking, obviously. And so I'm a strict teacher, but I also like to do fun things and interesting things. So I think I kind of evened out there. Like, I never was picked as like the student's teacher of the year. It was always the most fun teacher who got that. But I was okay with that. I want to do a good job. I've had a few students come. In fact, on the last Daystar cruise, one of my former students came on the cruise and said nice things. So that was nice. So, all right, folks. Well, I apologize. That is... Well, we ended with a sneeze, apparently. Thanks so much for watching Q&A at the Dice Tower. Sorry, didn't mean to sneeze right into the microphone. Anywho, we'll be back in 58 minutes with El Grande. We'll play it live. Well, we hope to see you then. If not, if we don't see you then, we'll be back when there's more We'll Play It Lives tomorrow morning and then Shoot Some Marbles tomorrow afternoon. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A plus a sneeze on the Dice Tower.